the 4K Fire Stick leaked. Now, I don't know how much information you know about this one, but you might not be too happy about it.
Okay, I've only heard that there's a leak. I haven't checked it out, so break it to me.
What's new? First thing, the remote. They're saying the 4K Fire Stick itself looks identical to the current model. Rumored. It looks the same. The Alexa button, the Juanita button, is now blue, making it stand out a bit more. There are dedicated buttons for Amazon Prime, Netflix, Amazon Music, and Disney Plus. Okay. I don't know. It sounds like they're adding more buttons. You know, they're also adding a channel button, which that channel button was in the Fire Stick Lite. You know, they had that little TV one. So it just looks like they're adding more buttons, but it's going to be based on subscriptions. Other than that, there's no real solid information about specs. They're saying that there's a good possibility that the processor, the memory, and other specs are going to be upgraded. Chances are that that it is, you know. I think it's on what, Android 7?
Yeah.
So is the Lite at 9? Fire Stick Lite? Yeah. So for sure, I'm pretty sure this is going to be Android 9.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all the hardware and software that they had for the Fire Stick Lite and the 3rd gen is going to be on this one.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like, it's going to be 1.5 gigs of RAM still. They're just going to update. They're going to pretty much update the old 4K Fire Stick to the 3rd gen or the Fire Stick Lite with 0.5 gig more of RAM. That's it.
Okay, so how do I feel about this?
How do you feel about this next level?
I'll be okay with it as long as it's cheaper than the Chromecast. Because if it's not cheaper than the Chromecast, it doesn't make sense. The Chromecast has a new interface. It has 2 gigs of RAM. It's a really good device, and it's really giving the Amazon products a run for their money. Now, saying that, a run for their money, they're pretty much priced the same. Amazon generally goes on sales with bigger discounts than the actual Chromecast devices, right? So I think that there's a bigger margin for them to capitalize on sales if they knock down the price a little bit. Now, I don't know. Maybe they keep the same RAM and the same ROM, and they just bump up whatever they have to bump up. They change the remote, and maybe they come out with 2 versions of the 4K Fire Stick. One that's $10 cheaper and one that's $10 more. I don't know what they're doing, man. But there's too many Fire Sticks on the market. I like the Fire Sticks. I like how solid the devices are. I do think that the new operating system runs pretty smooth. I think once they revamp it, they come out with the new stuff. I think just like we found when they came out with the Fire Stick and the Fire Stick Lite, they ran very smooth for what they had. And I think once they optimize it and they re-release it, we'll probably be pleasantly surprised. And even though we keep asking for the 2 gigs, at the end of the day, they don't care. They're in it for their profit margins, and it is what it is. So I used to be just like how you are a Sony pony. I used to be 4K Fire Sticks. That's it. That's all I want. But now with so many nice devices on the market, I don't really care anymore. I mean, I have Fire Sticks and I have Fire TVs and I use them because I have them. But to be honest, if one of these die, I'd probably be more inclined to checking out a Chromecast or checking out another device that's on the market. So they're going to have to do something with the price to entice me.
Yeah, I still think they need to do something with that Fire Stick, man. Because honestly, it's very, I don't know. The specs for the third gen and the light were okay. I totally agree with you that they run smooth for what they have,
Yeah. And we didn't think they would.
and we didn't think they would. We're actually bashing on anything that had 1 gig of RAM, but you know what? Here's the title for a clip. 1 gigabyte of RAM works if it's optimized. That's the key.
In
There's some,
specific scenarios.
and I quote, yeah, so there's some Android devices out there that have a gig, and it's just kind of like, what? Why? It's like, okay, if you're a third party Android device out there, you need more than a gig. Especially for memory, because then if not, then when it comes to storage and all that stuff, then you got to start modifying it, and people don't want to do that. People want to get it out of the box, and it just works. And the Fire Stick Lite out the box, it just works.
It does.
Plain and simple. The 4K Fire Stick, I really do hope they add at least one bell and whistle. Just give me something cool. I see that they're adding all these extra buttons, but it's only relevant if I have all of those subscriptions. Like, I don't got Netflix. So we're gonna get to Netflix in a second here, but yeah, Netflix is something else. But it like, I know we've talked about it before. I wish that they would give us some way to take out some of those buttons and customize those buttons to whatever we want. If we want to map it to something else, give us some of those rubber stops that you could slip one of those out and pop a new one in.
We've talked about that.
Yeah, and then just have it, color it blue and be like, cool, the blue one means ESPN Plus.
Whatever you want it to mean.
Whatever you want. Like, let me program it the way that I want. Don't give me Netflix, please.
That's never going to happen with these devices. These devices, like we've talked about it, the reason the Fire Stick is priced the way that it's priced is because it advertises for other services, other subscriptions they have. It's basically their gateway drug to their ecosystem, right? So they're going to keep pushing that ecosystem down your throat as much as they can.